Hi, how are ya? Welcome to the Life Caddy podcast. I am Marco Tallarico. This guy over here is Dr. Mike Carrozza. Today,
Thank you.
we are in lovely Woodbridge, Ontario, doing what we do. Hi, Mike.
How are you?
I'm fantastic, bro.
How's your oil pulling days?
Oh, Michael, I gotta tell you that I'm on a health spurt. So we always talk about my wife because she's most important.
Of course.
We got in a big fight this weekend, and the result of that fight was that I thought to myself, you know what? I'm obviously not doing enough and taking care of myself enough. I'm not occupying my mental space with reflection and taking care of my own body and looking at myself. I'm so worried about the kids. I'm so worried about work. I'm so worried about her. So worried about all these things that I forget about myself. Right? And then what happens is I start getting upset when things are not going my way. You know, and I'm literally occupying my mind with useless thoughts. I'm not looking at the big picture. I'm just looking at all these minor things, right? And they're making me upset. Where the big picture is, I've got beautiful kids. Like, I'm rich. I've got beautiful kids, healthy. I've got a beautiful wife, healthy. I've got a roof over my head. Everything's good. If I just take care of myself and help my own self, then I will be in a better mood, in a better place. I don't know. I know that I'm not taking care of myself, and that's why I'm upset. It's deeper than what all these little things that are going on. So what have I done? I scrapped intermittent fasting. I listened to Gary Brecka. I'm doing 30-30-30. You like that? You know what it is? 30 minutes within 30 minutes of waking up, I have 30 grams of protein, and then I do 30 minutes of cardio. Not really like cardio, like I go for a walk. And while I'm boiling my eggs, my 13 minutes to boil my eggs and to put them in the thing and to get my lemon water boiled, I meditate for 13 minutes. And then while I'm meditating, guess what I'm doing? Oil pulling.
So for those of you who don't know, oil pulling, we use extra virgin coconut oil, and it's a tablespoon, and you have to do it for a minimum of 20 minutes.
Oh, I don't do it for 20 minutes. I do it for, and I think that's a little extreme doing it for 20 minutes. I've asked some people that I've asked say to me, 20 minutes seems like a lot. This guy seems like a soldier. You're a soldier. Yeah. He's a soldier.
20 minutes is the proven effectiveness. Anyhow, I mean, you can do it however.
No, but it feels great.
It's going to take time, so sometimes you just
So tell me what it's doing. Is it cleaning my mouth?
So what you do, so the antimicrobial effects are real. What's happening right now in today's society is we have biofilms. Biofilms are breaking up. So these biofilms are bioaccumulation of bad bacteria, fungus, and molds that actually create these films that get protective in the body, so that it's very hard for the body to sort of combat it. So they go into a little protective mode. So these biofilms are something that is extremely important right now in a lot of patients' health, and even in society, because the antibiotic latents, I mean, what we've been seeing with antibiotics recently is that the high overuse of antibiotics, and literally antibiotics, we're running out. We're running out of antibiotics to kill these pathogens. But the body is getting really smart, and these bugs, these microbial organisms are actually getting hidden in our body, and they're becoming protective against. And it's more than just resistance. It's more than just antibiotic resistance. So what's happening is that these biofilms are building up. So like when you brush your teeth, biofilms accumulate within the gum lining, and it's actually the first sign of bacterial overload that can actually give rise to not only bad breath, but actually give rise to bad bacteria to grow inside your intestines and in your gut. So I think that's important. But I really like that you're taking your health serious. I think this is the most important thing. We start asking ourselves, we get busy in life. We get busy in our businesses. We get busy with our families. Everybody gets busy, but you got to ask yourself. And I want everybody to ask themselves this one question. What's your biggest and most important asset?
Your body. Your brain.
If you can't work, you can't generate an income. This whole thing doesn't work. So how do you keep that straight, and how do you keep that? So this is why we exercise, extremely important. We eat healthy because we want to rid ourselves from illnesses and diseases so that we can keep ourselves out of things like the hospital setting.
Okay, so again, lovely Matt Millet, the producer, showrunner of the show, Matt, thank you very much, has come up with some of many topics that he wants us to talk about today. In eating a lot of protein in the past 3 days, because I've been almost all protein, I've been eating a lot of chicken, and he wants, and I like to know about restaurant chicken.
Okay, so my take on chickens is you want to make sure it's organic, but it doesn't protect you from the most important thing, what these chickens are consuming. So chickens are actually consuming grains, and most often and most definitely there's soy involved. So we know that there's a hormonal connection with soy, and there's definitely a lot of research studies with males consuming too much chicken and prostate cancers. So just a fair warning, you want to really think about if you're eating a lot of chicken breast or chicken, you really want to think about whether that's the right thing for you. Omega-3s and omega-6s, this is the big talk. Anti-inflammatory is omega-3s. Omega-6s are more pro-inflammatory. Therefore, chicken is going to be more pro-inflammatory.
Oh boy. So let's just stay on chicken for a second here. The idea is go buy organic, good chicken. Like that's the idea. If you're going to eat chicken, make sure it's...
If you're going to eat chicken, you want to make sure it's organic, yes. But it's not just the organic. It's what are these chickens eating? You know, when you shop for eggs, it's a big deal as well. And you look for what are these eggs eating? You want a chicken to just do what a chicken needs to do. And that's eating grass and worms and bugs, because that's what chickens do. If you're going to force feed a chicken and make it eat something that you want it to eat, then you're really changing the internal environment of these organisms. And unfortunately, the hormone implications are profound.
Organic chicken. I've actually thought about becoming a chicken farmer. I swear to you. Chicken and eggs. Because my grandmother was a chicken farmer, and my grandfather was a chicken farmer, and they used to eat their chickens, and they just let them graze, like, around.
Yeah, you let them do their thing
on the Go Road.
They won't starve.
And I mean, obviously, I'm not going to become a chicken farmer or do eggs, but I think that would be a great business for all you aspiring entrepreneurs out there. I think what's missing in the world is good eggs and good chicken. There is some out there, but it's very expensive. So the local chicken farm, a local egg within 100 kilometers of here would be a good idea. I'd be willing to help you raise the money. Okay. Oh, shoot. Here we go. Okay, so I really want to talk about protein powder because
it's a big topic.
My guy, Gary Brecka, over here, now that I'm doing this 30-30-30 thing, right? I'm doing 30-30-30. Do you understand that? 30 minutes of waking up, I have 30 grams of protein, and I do 30 grams of elevating my heartbeat. Cardio.
Well, let's talk about intermittent fasting for a second. I think we got to segue because you mentioned it.
But I'm not doing it anymore.
I know, but I want to talk about it. I want to talk about why you quit intermittent fasting. And I'm going to tell a lot of the people and a lot of our listeners watching, I get like 10 to 20 questions on a daily in my office about intermittent fasting. And when I see new patients, the number one thing I hear is, I did intermittent fasting and it didn't work. I want to be very clear. Intermittent fasting is great. It works for most people, and some people it just doesn't. But if you don't do intermittent fasting right and your gut health is not optimal, you're going to be in trouble. Number one. Number two, intermittent fasting has got to be done specifically. And the whole point for intermittent fasting is to actually help you with things like insulin resistance and caloric intake, a decrease in caloric intake. Basically, intermittent fasting is just to say the guys who can't stop eating, just to say, hey, you're going to have to eat a little
within
bit
6
less.
hours.
And then between the hours of 1
I heard
and
that
8,
before.
you just got to eat 500 calories twice a day. So you cut down to 1,000 calories a day. And some people eat 3 meals a day, can't do it because they can't sort of, unfortunately stop eating. So this forces that reaction. And if you do intermittent fasting, most people are doing it. I talked to a guy yesterday. He's like, yeah, I'm having a double coffee in the morning, and you do an intermittent fasting. You have no idea what you've just done to your body.
It's crazy.
You cannot have a double coffee. You heard about coffee.
No, listen. The thing is, I was doing it right. I was doing it right. And it was fine for me. It was keeping me pheno. It was keeping me. I wasn't losing weight, but it was keeping me okay. I want to lose weight, and the 30-30-30 seems like a better plan for me because then I could just keep on eating snacks like protein, like some nuts or another egg or maybe an enchilada or something like that. Okay.
So I'm interested to see this journey that you're taking. And the other interesting point is intermittent fasting is not meant to do every single day. I don't know if you knew that. It's important.
No, I wasn't doing it every single day. I was doing it 5 days a week.
Yeah. So, but intermittent fasting is only should be done after you sustain yourself to put yourself. You should only do it 3 times a week.
See, you know what? People actually, my wife said that too. She's like, you can't keep on doing that.
She
She knows a lot actually.
And then you do intermittent fasting for too much, and then it's not sustainable. That's the other thing. So, good job. So let's talk about protein powder.
Protein powder. No, because the reason why is because now I have to go to the store and I have to buy protein powder because making 3 eggs every morning and eating cashews, like you know how hard it is.
I wouldn't eat cashews if I were you. Who told you to eat cashews? Cashews are.
Oh no, sorry, almonds. Almonds.
Don't
I'm
eat
supposed to
cashews.
eat. I'm supposed to eat almonds. We ran out of almonds, so this morning I had cashews instead.
Cashews is a lectin. It's a pro-inflammatory mediator. It's extremely.
It's not protein.
It's protein, but it's terrible for you.
Oh, no more cashews.
Yeah.
No more cashews.
Do some walnuts.
Walnuts. I didn't. We didn't have any.
Walnuts, pecans,
we didn't have
almonds,
any nuts
I'm
left.
okay with
I have to go. I have to go buy some nuts, and I have to go buy some protein. So I gotta go buy protein powder, and I want a suggestion on what protein powders I should buy.
Okay. So,
And what's the impact on my kidneys?
So I dislike all protein powders. I think all protein powders are terrible. That's my honest opinion. And hey, listen, you know what? Everybody's going to do what they need to do with their life. But the reason why protein powders are no good is because of the impact that it has on your kidneys and your body. So you're pumping out, 35 to 40 grams of protein. You're taking it in one bolus of food, meaning one shot. That's extremely high of a dose. Now, I understand meal replacements, bodybuilding, and etc. Now, if you have to do a protein powder, it's got to be clean. So what's the difference between a vegan powder and a non-vegan powder? This is the biggest, right now, this is the biggest craze because people don't know whether they should go vegan or they should go, animal-based. So my theory on whey protein is it's very simple. I have a simple model in my office in my practice. It's a no whey policy.
No way. Yeah.
No way.
No way.
So
No way. Yeah, that's what I heard too. Whey, all whey will either have sugar or have something that replaces sugar, and then that'll have an impact. So no way.
ultra refined, ultra processed. Now we're
So
talking.
what's a brand that you're talking about? Like, how about that one
So if it's a beef,
Vega?
if it's a
That Vega one. It's supposed to be all natural.
I mean. So here's the problem with. So what you're speaking about is a vegetarian protein powder with a lot of oxalates. So when you put micro spinaches and you're putting a lot of oxalates in the body, you're stressing out the body and the kidneys even more. So I think if I had to do a protein powder, I would go to an all beef collagen protein powder, which the ingredients is all beef. And it's basically you're just having a beef protein. There's a couple of really good brands out there. Designs for Health makes a really good one, and it's clean, and it's literally just beef protein from grass-fed
Designs, what's it called?
New Zealand beef. Designs for Health.
Designs
It's a
for Health.
chocolate flavor. It's really good.
We're calling
Protein-based.
Matt. Maybe if you're. By the way, your hair looks very nice today. Just we should get a shot of it.
Matt, so
Oh, you're going somewhere after this. Where are you going?
Sault Ste. Marie.
You got your hair done for Sault Ste. Marie? Jeez. I put a hat on for Sault Ste. Marie. Sorry. Okay. I get it. The all beef one by what's the Kingdom Company?
Designs for Health.
The all beef one that's chocolate, Designs for Health. That's what I'm going to look for. And I'm going to get, and that's
Clean.
that's going to be my
You want
clean.
clean. You want something clean. It's from grass-fed cows, grass-fed, grass-finished. You know that it's going to be not laced with things like glyphosites, which are pesticides laden. And even if it's organic, they're laden with pesticides, unfortunately. And then the high oxalate for these big vegetable compounds. Look, the bottom line is you got to make time for eating. I want you to fuel because that protein is going to go right into your tissues. And that's the best bet.
Fine, but I make time for eating, but the point
Couple
being,
times a week
the
if you
point,
wanna
no,
shake.
the point being in the morning when I'm doing this 30-30-30 thing, and I gotta get up, I gotta meditate, I gotta put the oil in my mouth, I gotta boil water, I gotta get that all done in a half an hour, and then I gotta get out the door not because of the 30-30-30, because I got my kids are gonna wake up. So then I won't have time for a walk. Today I was on my walk. 15 minutes into my walk, my wife's calling me. Where are you? Why did you leave so late to do your walk? So I had to go back. I only got 20 minutes today instead of half an hour. You know what I'm saying? So if I can get the protein in, 30 grams of protein in, right? Whether it's an egg and a protein shake or an egg, almonds, any combination of three things. Just what I was saying to you is eating 3 eggs in the morning and almonds, mi ven a horosha. I'm like, I can't. It doesn't go down.
I eat 3 to 4 eggs every single morning.
Yeah, but it doesn't go down that early in the morning. Like I'm not even hungry
You have to
eat.
wait. You have to
no
drink.
mi viene.
You have to
know what I mean?
hydrate first. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have my lemon water. So yeah, okay. Anyways, the point is, okay. And then, okay, here's a problem I have in my house, and I need you to help me with this, is I don't know what to make for my kids' lunch because they go to Waldorf, Rudolf Steiner, Tuttegos, okay? And they can't have packaging. They can't have anything, any litter. The lunch box has to come all containers that you take home after. It has so now every single thing that we put in that lunch box has to be, we have to make it. It has to be Whole Foods.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But you know how hard it is to make these kids.
Shout out to my wife. She's a champion. I mean, she wakes up at 6 a.m. every morning. She preps the lunch. So what my kids take for lunch is that she has these little bento boxes. They're stainless steel.
We have them too.
And she packs, so she'll pack unpasteurized, really healthy cheddar cheeses that are aged. She'll give them some really nice whole grain crackers. She'll definitely put some grapes and some cucumbers. A few times a week, she'll actually make them a really amazing pasta. So the types of pasta that we consume in our house, I love, absolutely love low gluten containing pasta. So it's extremely important.
Yeah, it just has to be Italian pasta.
You just got to buy the
pasta.
Italian pasta. As gambaro is usually one that we use. It's really good. It's a camut pasta, but Mongrana is probably the absolute best. Mongrana pasta is about $9 a pack. It's 100% camut. It tastes just like regular pasta. Protein content. Mongrana. It's about 15
There's
grams
another
of
plug
protein.
for you there, bud.
15 grams of protein, high fiber, really good and not as reactive, and only 1% gluten. It's certified 100% natural, organic, and it's dried really well. Those are the kinds of pasta. So like you put it in a thermos, right? Mm-hmm. And it still stays hot. My kids told me
we do almost exactly the same thing. It sounds like my wife and your wife are like on the same channel. My question now becomes his teacher, my Francesco's teacher, my oldest son, his teacher said that he has low energy. When they're all playing, he's the first one to stop and rest. He feels like his muscle density isn't enough, right? Where my daughter is a fucking like she eats, because she did the first 40 days. Remember I told you about that? Mm-hmm. My daughter's a beast, fucking fierce. And then my son, the last one, is a mix of them both. He doesn't like to eat as much as Joya, but he does eat because he eats with Joya, so they eat together or whatever. But the first one doesn't like to eat. And even at lunchtime, we do all these things that we're talking about.
And then he brings it home full.
Half the time it's half full thing. Like, okay,
you got to find something he likes.
And they only want plain pasta. They don't want any tomato sauce or anything in the pasta.
So you do the white pasta, and you can grate some Parmesan cheese and
they like that, a little bit of butter. We have really good
grass-fed butter.
Yeah, we have really good butter.
Really good high.
So it's basically the quantity he's not eating enough. It's not that he's not eating good products, because my wife does buy good pasta, I think. Anyways, we'll talk about that after. But good suggestions for the listening audience, as it were, when we ever launch this. for the Lycians audience, as it were, thank you very much for that advice. That's really nice. Let's talk about more things in our house, like detergent or Febreze or all these porcarias that end up in our. Again, we don't use any of that stuff. God bless my wife; she doesn't let us use anything unnatural.
And it's
But
important because these are all hormone disruptors. Look, we're in a day and age right now that people's hormones, whether it's a male or female, hormones are at an all-time low. Testosterone's at an all-time low for men. Yes, you can take some truffles. It'll help.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, I think
black
that.
truffle oil.
Okay, let's get back to that for a second. Hormone. We're going to talk about hormones for 1 second, but we have to take a break. It's a good time for a break. It's not.
Sponsored by.
It's a sponsored by break. We are sponsored by Truffle Kings, but we are actually sponsored by Truffle Kings. You want to know why? Because I own Truffle Kings, and I pay for this whole thing. So that means that we are actually sponsored by Truffle Kings. So that said, maybe you have to clip out the whole "I pay for it" thing. But anyways, that said, truffles are known to increase the production of testosterone, and what the world needs now is more testosterone. We need less man buns as baristas and more young, beautiful young girls the way it used to be. That sounds so creepy. But the way it used to be is that you used to walk into a coffee shop and there was a nice, young, beautiful girl behind the thing and it was a joy to get a coffee from. Now we have all these guys with their little man buns and, and no testosterone in this world anymore.
Testosterone's at an all-time low, Marco.
There's no testosterone. So if you want to change that, now you want to hear what I say? This is still on Truffle Kings. Hold on. We have a beautiful black crema. We're gonna show. This is a beautiful black crema. What it means by crema, it has porcini mushrooms, it has champignon mushrooms, black olives, anchovies, extra virgin olive oil, and of course, black truffle. If you eat a little bit of that every single day, take a nice dollop right on top of your whole grain cracker. Rimane forte. You're gonna get the testosterone back, and that's what the world needs now. Truffle Kings bringing testosterone back to Canada. Okay, now let's talk about low T. Right?
So low testosterone is very common right now with a lot of youngsters. It's a real problem. It's actually a big problem in practice for me. I'm seeing it at an all-time low. I'm measuring 25 to 30-year-olds and their testosterone is tanking. Societal forces are pushing. This is evolution. This is survival of the fittest. This is an evolutionary process that's currently taking on. But however, women are going through menopause, which is the end of their sort of ability to conceive children. Menopause, and for men, andropause, this is starting at a very, very early age. So like, for example, women normally should go through menopause in their like late 40s, early 50s. Shout out to some women who are still menstruating in their 50s. That's a huge, thank your genes, and something you're doing is really good.
Mm-hmm. Healthy.
Because we talked about things like hormone disruptors, and what's going on in society today is that we have these hormone disruptors. And women now are actually going through menopause between 35 to 40. It's really early. We're talking about decades earlier. And these hormone disruptors are in our foods, these microplastics. These are actually everywhere. It's in our water supply, it's in our food, and it's definitely in the environment. And the hormone disruptors, not only just seed oils that's being cooked in society, but we're talking about these chemicals that are being used to sanitize. And these are extremely toxic to the hormone and the endocrine system. You really want to try to use something natural. And listen, vinegar cleans. We use vinegar. It's in my house. It cleans everything.
We use vinegar in our house. I have a Filipino nanny, as it were. Her name is Violi. God bless Violi. God bless Violi.
And you want to protect her too, right?
Well, yeah. No, I will
people
protect,
using
of course.
These chemicals.
She's very healthy. 64 years old. She's got her own Filipinos have their own ideas of health and what they got to eat and what they don't got to eat, and it actually works because she's 64 years old. She's just as young as she was 34 years old. That's another story for another time. She was my nanny when I was a kid. But anyways, my wife insists on only using natural products everywhere in our house, and yes, things are not as white and not as smelling like I don't know, all that scented bullshit, but I do 100% feel like she's been right all these years because of what you're saying. I think she's been right. So that said, we clean everything with vinegar. Everything in our whole house is cleansed.
It's not a hormone disruptor.
It smells at first, but then the smell goes away, and then it's still clean. So yeah, but like things like magic erasers. Like when I see a magic eraser, if it has formaldehyde in it.
Yeah.
When I see a magic eraser in my house, I go nuts. We used to need it before to clean the walls because they used to write on the walls all the time. But now they don't write on the walls anymore. So we have no more magic erasers. But when I did see them and they would be like out and on the counter or something, and then like one of the kids would go by and grab it, I used to go nuts because it's made of formaldehyde. It's a little formaldehyde sponge. Basically. How bad is that for your kids?
Bad for a lot of things. Just really bad. Again, especially these youngsters that we have in our homes, their endocrine system and their neuroendocrine system, which is their neurological hormone secreting production system, is so frail. And you don't want to change it up. You don't want to modify it. You don't want to mess with it, because this is what's happening currently in society today. Why else? I mean, besides the fact of why else are we seeing 20 to 30-year-old men having low testosterone, females menstruating or stopping to menstruate like 10 years earlier? What else can we sort of, if it's
maybe they're using lavender. Maybe the men are using lavender. Men shouldn't use lavender. Doesn't testosterone get lowered by lavender?
Yeah.
Men don't use lavender.
Yeah.
You shouldn't use lavender anyways. Like, who really uses like? But really, at the end of the day, for two reasons: one, because you smell like lavender, and number two, because it lowers your testosterone. And what the world needs now is more testosterone. Okay.
Absolutely.
Burnt marshmallows, carcinogens. I mean, it's summer's over, so we're not really going to do too many more campfires. But when you do a campfire and things are burnt or burnt toast, anything burnt.
These hydrocarbons are real. They're carcinogenic, even if your meat is overcooked. They're saying that meat overcooked, not only do you not absorb the heme iron in the meat, meat should be done medium. It should be cooked a little bit
Chicago style is no good.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
I love Chicago style, though.
Yeah. These are these hydrocarbons that are actually changing. They're really toxic.
I can't order Chicago style anymore when I go.
Yeah,
it's just carcinogens, right? The black is really bad for you.
If you do a steak, you really want to just 90-degree turn.
Actually, I think the best way to do a steak is to sous vide it and then take it out and pan fry it a little bit with a little bit of butter. It's to give it a little bit of caramelization, so it's a little bit brown but not black. And then the meat that's the best way.
I don't like the way sous vide tastes. For me,
it's too.
It feels like it's boiled, because it is. I've had sous vide steak. There's a lot of research on that whole process and the microplastics within that. Because it's in the
the microplastics, yeah.
Because it's in a plastic bag.
Oh, jeez. You know what? I'm wrong. That maybe sous vide is not the. I don't eat it sous vide. I don't have a sous vide.
I think the way, who does it the best? La Fiorentina. Have you been to Florence?
Mm-hmm.
How do they do La Fiorentina? On a chain, over an open fire, and it comes raw.
I know, but the problem is, Mike, is that it's burnt on the outside. It's dark on the outside.
Yeah.
Okay,
so that's fine.
Contradiction in terms, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm of the feeling that you got to live a little bit too. Okay.
No, I
mean, we can't all try to live to 120. Who wants to be 120?
I barbecue steak. So now, do you burn it? No. Do you undercook it? No, but you want to cook it well, and you want to absorb all the nutrients, the B vitamins, the zinc, all the vitamin A, and especially things like liver, which is hugely important for vitamin A synthesis in the body.
So breakfast cereals got banned in Japan.
Bam. love this topic.
I counted yesterday. Remember I told you that I got in a fight with my wife this weekend. So I got one of the reasons why I got in a fight. You want to hear why? Because I went into the pantry, and I found 10 different cereals.
What were the brands?
No, they're all from the good stores. They're none of the bullshit. Like she doesn't buy anything from the bullshit. But if there's 10 of them, then there's 10 really expensive cereals in there. And it goes from varying of this many cereals in the bag to full ones and everything between, right? So I'm like, my question is, number one, is it even good for them to be eating these cereals? Number one. Number two, why not just have one or two and let them choose those? And if they like those ones, and there's not 17 varieties. When you have 17 varieties, then they don't know which ones they want. They don't eat like when we were in Jamaica, it was not good. We had Cheerios only because we were at the mercy of the store that was there,
Which is Kellogg's.
It's not good, but we only had one choice of cereal. My kids eat cereal, so we had to buy Cheerios. But there was only one cereal, Cheerios, and since there was only one cereal, they only ate Cheerios. So my feeling is, if there's only one cereal in the cupboard, or two, maybe at the most, then they'll only eat those two if they have to eat cereal. But back to my question: are any kinds of cereal good for your kids?
This is a loaded question. I'm extremely this is personal, and I'm extremely passionate about cereal. I think in terms of what's been happening to our kids, cereal is toxic. Cereal is toxic. We know now that the biggest lawsuits in the world for most leukemias are coming through from some of the biggest cereal producers in the world, because there's trace glyphosates that are actually been linked. And we know now that these leukemias that are linked to children are linked to the cereal. Cereal can be poison. And I'm going to say that with power, because when my nephews, when people, and I have kids, and my children's friends come to my house under my roof, they're eating one type of cereal, and that's the cereal that I say it's okay. And my family understands this. So it's not like, hey, he doesn't like that cereal because I've had it. My nephews have come over my house, and my nephew says, I don't like that cereal. I only eat the brand that you just said. And I'm saying, we don't have that brand in my house. And there's a reason. And there's a reason for a lot of things. But that stuff, I don't care if it's the last cereal on the face of the earth. I will fight tooth and nail, and nobody will be consuming that. If I had authority over what came into this country, and good on China for banning it. Glyphosates are killers. Japan. I mean, glyphosates are real. It's a killer, and it's linked. And if you don't take my word for it, you can really look up the detoxification project, and a lot of the Roundup. It's real, and these residues are there.
Okay, so which is the one that we're looking for? The 1-2 punch. The 1-2 punch. Matt loves a 1-2 punch. Now that you've given us the 1-2, knock us out with the brand that you use.
So there's multiple different brands. You want, just in terms of generality, you want a cereal that's organic, and the first ingredient cannot be sugar. What are the two poisons in this world? Marco, I ask you, what are the two poisons in this world for every human being in this world? There's two.
Sugar.
What's the next one?
Glyphosates.
Bingo! These are hidden toxins and poisons that not a lot of people know that actually are killing our society. It's true, right? So you want to have some really good quality cereal for your children, and you can't have that ingredient. So for me to say which
one is the one you do though?
So Crunchyos is what we use.
Crunchyos?
Yeah.
You get it at Nature's?
Yes.
Time for a sponsorship break.
I really like the Made Good cereal. I like where they're coming from. I like that they have no allergens, and they do
Made Good.
Made Good.
Yeah, we have a lot of that stuff in our house.
And the Made Good cereal is really good as well.
How about Kashi?
See, Kashi flips, and this is what bothers me about that particular brand, is they flip. They have some organic lines and then some lines that are not organic.
Oh, I see.
Now, if you have a factory and you're consuming all organic and all good products, how are you going to mix? Oh, well, this one's organic and this one's not.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. There's different plants that organize different things. And yes, I have purchased cashew in the past. However,
Saporito.
currently, no. Yeah.
No, it's so
no
good.
cereal.
Come on, the one with the little frosting on the. Saporito. I like that. I can even eat that without any milk.
Another brand
Can
is
tattoos be harmful? What? Tattoos?
another brand is Arrowroot, which
Arrowroot.
which is a really good brand. They actually bring in a buckwheat flake, which is 100% buckwheat grain, which, as we know, buckwheat is gluten-free, high protein, high fiber. It's an ancient grain, and they sweeten it with maple syrup.
Is
So
that
it's
one
called
of the things
buckwheat
I
flakes.
can have in the morning when I do my 30-30-30? Buckwheat.
Okay, we're talking
syrup.
about children. We're not talking about adults.
but me,
you need
me.
protein.
Protein.
You don't need grains.
Yeah, but so
That's a grain.
you said that buckwheat is high protein.
No, it's for children, which is a higher fiber. And yes, it's a good alternative. But if you're on a grain-free diet because you're trying to balance out your weight, you definitely don't want to start putting buckwheat, especially first thing in the morning, right, Matt? We want a proteinaceous breakfast. Proteinaceous. Excuse me, sir.
good word.
Proteinaceous. Let's go. Proteinaceous.
What is this? Tattoos can be harmful.
Well, they're saying that the colors and the toxicity, and there's certain kinds and colors of tattoos, and the ink and how it can actually enter
I'm in trouble. I got a lot.
how it can enter into the bloodstream. So
As
black
far-
black is usually
It also
safer
is an
bet.
indicator. I don't know that I've ever. This is something that's very prevalent. Someone said it to me the other day, and then after they said it, I can't forget it. They said females in particular with a high volume of tattooed area on their body, the higher the volume of tattooed area, the higher the mental problems.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because
I haven't looked
You
into that
can't
research.
you can't find anybody who has altered their body and did art on their body that doesn't have some degree of trauma or some sort of mental deficit, because you're harming yourself, and basically you're marking up your body. And to mark up your body, or body, what do you call it when you put things, or you put beads or whatever? Body morph. What is it called again?
Piercing?
No, piercing, but it's body something. Body altering, yes, but it's something. It's another word. Anyways, when you do that to yourself, that means that you're lacking something. I don't know how much there is to that, because I have tattoos all in here and all in here, and a couple here. You know what I mean? So I have tattoos, but I can attest to there being having a mental problem. That's for sure. So, for instance, my wife, as stable. I keep on bringing up my wife. I love this woman, huh?
I hope so.
No tattoos. Doesn't want any. Doesn't have any. As pure. So, now this is gonna piss off a lot of people who do have tattoos. I'm sorry, but anyways.
Anyway, so the toxins get into the bloodstream and it bioaccumulates. And at the end of the day, there is some research to suggest that this can actually be harmful.
And you're mental.
Next.
So scented candles. You really wanted to talk about scented candles, and I think it goes to the whole hormone thing again, right?
And the toxicity, well, yeah, if you're having a scented lavender candle, what do you think is going to happen, Marco? Boom. Here's the deal. Scented candles,
You basically start carrying a purse.
they say that candles one candle releases an obscene amount of carbon monoxide. It's actually really bad for you. It's very different than an open flame, or like a bonfire. It's actually equivocal, but inside the house. One candle could cause an astronomical amount of toxicity in the house. So be careful what you're doing. You're trying to rescent your house. You're trying to do these special sprays, but you're trying to make your house
Walking around with the thing. You know what my wife does all the time? She has those
essential oils.
those things where they go around and they go like this with the smoke. She has that. She's burning sage.
Sage.
She's
Incense,
burning sage.
sage.
Not incense. I don't like the smell of incense, but once in a while,
Still burning, right? So carcinogen again, the burning incense is
once in a while, when people come over, before they come over, my wife walks around and she sages the house, right, to make it less old house smelling, because we live in an old house, so kind of like you can, when you walk into the house, you smell that like that old house scent. And she doesn't really like it, so she opens up all the windows so there's good airflow, and she goes around and da, 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 da. So it smells nice, and it's sage. So is that bad?
Look, I think
Any smoke in the house?
I shout out to my wife. I think the best, she's got it down packed. I mean, she just puts essential oils in every single room, and she has diffusers. So diffuser will cost you $9. You get it, and you just put a couple of drops, not lavender. But you can actually put some peppermint, or you can actually make these rooms smell good. It lowers down the allergens, stimulates the immune system, actually really helps the body fight off infection as well.
Essential oils.
Yeah, it's a huge thing.
Yeah, oils is a
So
big.
we got one in every room. My kids got one in their bedroom. We got one in our bedroom. It's in every floor of the house, in their study, in our kitchen. We have it downstairs in the basement. I have one in my office for all my patients who come in, and it smells nice. Thanks to my wife, she makes it smell beautiful because putting a diffuser with the essential oils.
We do nothing but talk about our wives in this show. We should bring our wives one day and have your wife sit there and my wife sit here, and they do
100%.
the Life Caddy
I would love
podcast
it.
with them two laying down after eating.
That's a good one.
I like this one. We're gonna end on yeah, left or right side. So I 100% know this one is absolutely true. I sleep on my left side, especially if I've eaten in the past 4 or 5 hours. I sleep on my left side because I can actually feel, if I sleep on my right side, I can actually feel my stomach going and moving this way. Right? I can feel it. And I'm like, holy shit. Now that I know it, I can't unfeel it. So now I sleep on my left side. But good news. Good news.
We don't lie down after we eat.
I don't eat. That's what I mean. No, like last night.
That's the best news.
Me and my wife had to have a little makeup dinner, but we didn't go for dinner. We just went for a glass of wine. I had a glass of wine. It was late, but I had a glass of wine. She had a bowl of rapini and beans and a glass of wine because she was still hungry, but I wasn't hungry, so I didn't eat. So good news, even though I love beans and rapini right there, I just abstained. So I didn't eat anything since 6 o'clock. When I went to bed, I could have slept on my left side, my right side. I could have slept on my head. I've been waking up early. I'm so tired. I was in an empty stomach, beautiful. Felt so good. I had the best sleep last night because I made up with my wife. I had a glass of wine, which is maybe not the best thing. And I slept on my left side, and I had an empty stomach. I slept right through I went to bed at 11. I slept right through till 6 o'clock this morning, 7 hours straight. That never happens. Physiologically. Anyways, let's talk about the sleeping after.
So don't lie down after you eat. Number one, it's not a good idea. Go for a walk. Go on a treadmill. Just try to get your body sort of. You need to get those gastric juices flowing. Lying down is absolutely wrong. Number one, and if you have to lie down after you eat, you're actually eating too late, like you just mentioned. Mm-hmm. I want to end off on this notion. I had a patient come into my office, said, I have H. pylori. We diagnosed her. She said, I don't want to do it.
She has what?
H. pylori. Helicobacter pylori, which is a bacterial infection that actually affects the gut, the stomach lining, and releases stomach acid overproduction and can actually lead to stomach cancer. Here's the deal. She wanted to treat this naturally. She didn't want to use the antibiotics because she tried a bout of it. It didn't work, came back. Because this is what happens. We started talking about these biofilms. Research, extra virgin, cold pressed, pure olive oil will actually, 1 teaspoon twice a day will actually cure, prevent, and forbid the overgrowth of this sort of biofilms and these microbiological organisms that are in fact specifically Helicobacter pylori, which is H. pylori. You take a tablespoon of olive oil in the morning and you take 1 tablespoon at night, and it would eradicate, meaning get rid of this infection. I think it's important to know that. But we're on the topic of olive oil. There's a lot of research on olive oil and heart health and cardiovascular disease, and extremely important on how the body needs to sort of set itself. But are all olive oils equal?
No. Actually, we're just about to hire a girl to run Carabio. She comes from I think the company's called Deloitte. They're the biggest producer of olive oil in the world. They own Bertolli. Okay? And we were talking about it, and she's like, do you want to get your olive oil, the olive oil Caribbean, do you want to get it into nationals like Loblaws and all these things? I said, no. I said, I don't want to be known as a mainstream olive oil, because if I'm a mainstream olive oil, the assumption is it's going to be fake. It has to be way cheaper, which I can't get to that price. Plus, we're trying to market our olive oil as a wellness product and not a gourmet product, not a premium product. Because, and let me tell you this, when you're talking about a wellness product, premium is implied. It has to be premium. It has to be a good product if it's a wellness product. So it has to be natural. It has to be organic. It's going to be expensive. I'm sorry to say it, but less quantity of healthy, expensive organic product is better than a lot of shitty, not organic, cheap product. It's not about quantity. It's about quality. Wouldn't you agree?
100%. And you know, olive oil just stands to, at the University of Guelph, when I did my master's, I mean, we took a course and we were taught, this is many, many years ago, over 20 years ago, but what we talked about is functional foods and nutraceuticals. This was the cutting edge of today's society with what we see now. This is a functional food. This right here. It's a functional food. Functional food means, and this is how I operate in my lifestyle, if I'm going to eat something, it better give me something back.
It's going to provide
besides calories and actually give me a deficit or something I don't want. I want something from this. What are you giving me? What are you giving me in this truffle oil? What are you giving me in this extra virgin olive oil? And then what's happening in society, the dilutions, right? How much olives are created. And now you have to get these olive oils that are not traced from Tunisia, from Spain, from Italy. They all go into this big facility. And what's happening? Well, the oil's getting cut. And the oil is not 100%. So kudos to the people. Kudos to the people that are saying, I'm going to provide an oil that is 100% pure, and it's going to be used as a functional food.
That's us.
And that functional food actually has medicinal properties that is going to be what we are looking for in society today.
God bless you. God bless you. God bless truffles. God bless olive oil. God bless testosterone. God bless the Life Caddy podcast. Thank you all for coming this week. Thank you all for tuning in. Like, subscribe.
Drink olive oil.
Drink olive oil. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Matt Millier, for another riveting
Good topics, Matt.
outline. Good topipics, Matt.
And I can't wait to try this.
Yeah, no, that's going to be great. And also, we're going to send you home with a case of olive oil. I mean, of truffle oil for your office. So our Truffle King's truffle oil with real truffle in it, not essence.
That's
or aroma,
the difference. And I think
real
that's the
truffle in it, real extra virgin olive oil, will be available at Apple Med for purchase. It comes in a beautiful box. I don't have it here, but anyway, signing out. Apple,
Thank you.
Apple Med, Truffle Kings, and the
Brought to you by
and the Life Caddy podcast.